And welcome to the Reflection Show with me, Martha Anabila. A lot of young people out there are unable to access quality reproductive health services, information, and education. Sometimes we think that they know so much and we are able to give them adequate knowledge on this. Parents, adults, guardians, and every one of us, are we doing our best to make sure that young people are living strong and healthy lives? I think we need to do better. But how can we? Sometimes we feel that some kind of information is not good for them at their age. But do we actually know what they know? Do we follow our kids to see what they know or see on social media? How are we monitoring our kids? And how can we help them to abstain and have great and adequate information? Today I'll be speaking with personnel from Savannah Signatures, an NGO here in Tamale, let me say in Ghana, because they are operating in other parts of the country, to help us understand some of the challenges that young people face, including child marriage, and how parents can be able to support them when need be. My hair and makeup is by Indev's Beauty Salon here in Tamale. Let's go for a break. When we are back, we delve straight into the discussion. I am Martha Anabila. Welcome back to the show with me, Martha Anabila. I'm here with Rahel and Najat. Welcome to the Reflection Show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martha.
Straight to the point. You have been on the field, and I think I've worked on the area of reproductive health for a while. But Subsign have been one of the major partners, organizations spearheading this agenda. As a field person, what are some of the things or the challenges you've seen regarding adolescent reproductive health? Rahel?
Thank you very much, Martha, and greetings to your audience.
Thank you.
So, as a person on the field or constantly interacting with young people, the challenges are endless. I think you would agree with me when we say that, you know, getting into your teenage years, it comes with a lot of issues. So some of the issues that we encounter in certain parts, in certain places, there is the issue of child marriage. I think that's one of the most reoccurring issues. People would think that in this day and age, something like that will be a thing of the old, but it very much exists. That's one of the issues. And then there is also very little knowledge of young girls about menstrual hygiene. There is that too. They do not have education on how to conduct themselves when they are menstruating, or even how many times do they even have to change their pad, their sanitary pad, and how many times, you know, they need to bath or even change their clothes. These are very much some of the issues on the field.
Najat, what are some of the issues you've seen on the field?
Just like she mentioned, child marriage is one of the biggest challenges. And I think around last week, we had the Ghana Statistical Service sharing with us a report. And I chanced on it on social media, and it made mention of how about 80,000 young people between 12 and 17 are being married or staying with a man. And I think that's disheartening. And it should be something, especially in the northern region. I think the 3 northern regions, especially in the northeast, had like 13%. The northeast had somewhere around 10.9 or so. And also the northern region had 10%. And that's like twice the average of the current the statistics recorded by the country. And I think there's a need for parents and also guardians to be educated on child marriage and its disadvantages. Because when you look at child marriage, for instance, when a young person is married, you expect that she would, well, I don't want to say, she will have be engaged in sexual activities, and which will lead to teenage pregnancy. And with this, I think children or teenagers would have complications as a young mother. That's like a child having to have a child. So yeah, it is disheartening. Also, we have young people facing sexual and gender-based violence issues, and particularly with girls that they are being raped. And yeah, that's some of the challenges I would say we have for now.
Talking about child marriage, do you think the parents themselves consent to these?
It will shock you to know that the biggest masterminds of child marriage are
the
usually parents of the girl, let me say.
Yeah.
Because if you take 10 cases of child marriage, you would have about 8 of them being consented to by the parents. Granted, there are child marriages that the children decide that, you know, they want to live together and then, you know, move in with each other and all of that. Sometimes parents try to no avail to pull them out of it. But if you go to certain parts of the country, we have parents who are spearheading this issue. As Savannah Signatures, we are constantly getting calls from regions, people saying that, oh, my parents say they want me to marry.
Wow.
Yeah, my parents want me to marry. I do not want to marry. What do I do? These are the issues. And when you follow through, you realize that there are other underpinning issues to this. It could be a struggling family who somehow feel like the girl, it's their key to success. Let me put it like
Yeah.
that. So
Trying to get the rich milk, the rich men, and come in
exactly
of the family.
And funny enough, if you bring it to you and I are certain, what they are seeing as some form of riches may not be anything. We have seen cases of somebody trying to give their daughter out to marriage because the man gives the family 2 Ghana cedis every day.
Or the man paid the school fees of the daughter, or some funny thing.
Yeah, some form, something like that. But then even that, the amount involved is usually very little. It is not something that can set a family up for life. In some places too, they give the child out so that they can get cows for another male family member to marry.
So me like this, I'm the first one. They could have let me marry and get a class of my younger brother.
Exactly. And there are issues like that too. So because of someone that you think is of age who is ready to marry, you want to, you know, ruin the life of a much younger child. So these are it. It is not all the time that it is just, you know, young people just doing their thing. I mean, youthful exuberance. But in most cases, there are parents, there are whole families who are supporting such unions because of 1 or 2 benefits they stand to gain.
Like a burger coming from, hey, it's the Christmas season now. So you imagine a burger coming and like, oh, Charlie, I like your daughter. And all of a sudden they give
Let me share a story. So one of our officers in the field was once telling us this. We were there and then there was a call from a young girl in distress saying that, oh, my father wants me to marry, and I'm still in senior high school. I cannot marry at this point because I want to finish my education. So just as an organization, they stepped in, you know, to try, you know, the first step is to reason with the family, you know, try to explain to them why, you know, this is unhealthy for a child at this point. And the father says, no, me, I'm done. And the child was in senior high school. The father was like, no, me, I'm done. I cannot take care of her again. Matter. So the man went to a bar, just like a regular bar, to go and eat. Then overhears the next people at the other table discussing about how their brother is coming from Saudi Arabia to look for a wife. The man does not know them from Adam. He moved straight to the table and tells them, your brother is looking for a wife. I have a daughter for you.
Just by hearing outside Ghana,
just by hearing Saudi Arabia. He does not know these people. He has never seen them before. Just, you know, random people having a random conversation. Then this man moves in and says, I have a daughter for you. And then now comes home and says, no, I need you to marry because this family has somebody, as to whether the man is mentally stable, as to however the man, he has no idea, he has not met the entire family.
He wants dollars.
He just, you see, he just wants something that will benefit him. And this arrangement, there is no way that it will benefit the girl in any way.
Wow. Just moving straight, let me come to Najat on this. Adolescent health issues. You mentioned menstrual hygiene. What are some of the key, of course, we hear sanitary pads and all of that. But with that and other more, are there other more challenges that young people are going through? And what can we do? What is Subsign doing? And what can other partners do to help young girls going through this issue?
Yeah, of course there are actually other challenges aside sanitary pads, but the main challenge would have to be sanitary pads, because this is what you would need to use as a young girl to keep yourself clean, so you, in order to not stain yourself. So imagine you can't afford a sanitary pad and you have to go to school, you have to use these napkins or let's say sanitary,
Yeah. Some even use toilet roll.
Yes, yeah, it goes a long way to affect you, even your comfort in class and all those stuff. So menstrual hygiene, it's actually the way of a young girl keeping herself clean during her menstrual period. And some of the challenges young girls actually reach out to are usually menstrual cramps, but those are just the least. Like I was saying, the menstrual pads are usually the main concerns with young girls. And I think when we talk about this issue, the issue of taxation on sanitary pads usually pops up, because we are in a time that our menstrual pads are taxed each and every day, and which is how will I say it?
It's a need, and condoms are there.
Yes,
condoms
condoms are actually there.
I don't want to go into the argument now why condoms are really not taxed and pads are really taxed and all of that.
Yeah, so with the issue of menstrual hygiene, I think that's it. And well, I think the government will have to look at it during budgeting or whatever, make a review on that to reduce the prices, especially for rural girls. And if you're an NGO that are out there, you can make some donations to these girls, because
that's for donations. I think they do. Sometimes it's sustainability.
Yeah.
So when you have Martha Inspires Foundation, even other organizations, we've done power donations, especially Menstrual Hygiene Day. It's like everybody, I see even some of my partners, MTN Ghana, doing donations here and there. But how sustainable, how it's expensive. Recently, we went to the market to just get a box of pads. Most of the time when I have money, I'm able to get that. And it was about almost 300 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
For a whole box. How many people can afford that? That becomes very... so now we have some of the structures in place, but girls are still facing challenges in accessing reproductive health services. Why?
Well, so when it comes to challenges with accessing reproductive, I think that there are lots of issues there. So there is a structural problem. Sometimes young people do not even know where to go to access these things.
Are we shy as well?
And sometimes the ones that are courageous, who go to these health centers, there's also the attitudinal problem of health workers. Because sometimes you refer a young person to the hospital, and then they come back and tell you that, oh, when I went, the way the nurse looked at me, I ran away.
Again, yeah.
Or the way they treated me, how they spoke to me, I will not go. So you see, there may be centers that young people can go to get the needed information, but they wouldn't go because of the attitude problem there. And then there is the other half also who do not even know where to go at all or where to start from. And that is dangerous. That is very, very dangerous. So they may have to rely on other people who may not have the full information.
Yeah.
And this can bring they make a lot of bad decisions, and they can get some bad consequences. So for instance, somebody's experiencing menstrual cramps. Then another person says, oh, in order to, I heard that if you have sex, your menstrual cramps ceases. And we all know what comes with unprotected sex. So this is somebody that was just going to try to, alleviate menstrual pain and then ends up getting pregnant. She got an information all right, but then she didn't get an information from the right source, and the information is not even true.
Yeah.
And the cycle continues. And then somebody will also say that, oh, I heard that if you do, if you, what are some of the myths that they even tell themselves? They'll be like, if you do this, you do that, and then it's not a correct information.
Yeah.
And then it brings about a lot of problems too. So what, one of the things Savannah Signatures has that I'm always so excited to talk about is the Ago-She Plus platform. It is a platform that gives correct, accurate information to young people.
Okay.
And accessing it, it's so easy. All you need is a phone.
Okay.
You do not need airtime.
Wow.
It is toll-free. You do not need airtime. So the thing is, the Ago platform already has messages on it,
Okay.
ranging on, menstrual hygiene.
Is it the same as a She Plus?
Yes, so
Okay.
so let me talk about the Ago platform and let me tell you how it merges with the She Plus
Plus,
platform.
okay.
So on the Ago platform itself, you get like static messages on a lot of reproductive health issues, ranging from menstruation all the way to even employment and all of that. But the Ago, when you add the She Plus is like a call center. So after going through all the messages on the Ago platform, if you don't understand something and you need clarification, the She Plus, what they have is they have health workers stationed at a particular place. So you are able to call and have, a conversation with a health attendant who would answer all your questions if all the messages on the Ago platform doesn't do for you. So for some people, they could call
I just want someone to just listen to.
Exactly. For some people, they could call and listen to messages on menstrual hygiene, and then they get it. They know what to do from there. But then somebody also will go through all of those messages and still her issue is not solved. She feels like, okay, the messages I'm hearing hasn't touched on exactly what my problem is. So that is where the She Plus platform comes in. So it is like a merge between the Ago platform and the She Plus platform. They existed on their own until a partnership was made and they've been merged together.
Okay.
So with the She Plus, there are people, health workers who are there who would pick up your call and then tell you what to do.
Okay.
If you have an issue that requires that you go to
Refer
the
you.
health facility, they refer you.
Okay.
If you have an issue that requires that you go to the social justice, that's the police station, the DOFSU and all, like they have contact persons in all of those places. So they refer you to a particular person and then you go there and have your issues taken care of. So that is like one of the things that Savannah Signatures is doing. Aside that too, we have projects that do education. So in-school engagements and community engagements. If you want to cover young people, you cannot just do only in-school engagements. What about young people that are out of school?
Yeah.
Yes, so they do in-school engagements, and then through all of those engagements, the traffic is still driven back to the Ago-She Plus platform. Because an engagement, I mean, an hour, 2, 3, and we are gone. People will have, pertinent questions they want to ask. Even though during the engagement, some may ask the health officials that may be present question, but some people today are too shy. So the Ago platform, when you even call them, you don't even have to mention your name. If you register on the Ago platform, we already know where you are calling from. The attendants just know where you are calling from already because it pops up on a dashboard.
Okay.
Yes, so they know. You can even select which language you are comfortable speaking. Yeah, it's not solely English.
You can speak Chinese.
I mean, I'm sure we will get there, but now it's the Ghanaian languages.
There's a Chinese man in this room, so if you want to have Chinese on your platform, please, you can employ him.
We would remember that when we are doing upgrades. So the health attendants that are present speak multiple languages. So Chi, Ga, Eve, Dagbani, Frafra, like all of these languages are there. So as your call comes through, they're able to tell which region you are calling from and which language you are comfortable in speaking. Yeah. And same way, the messages on the Ago platform, they are in several languages too.
Nice.
So you can pick whichever language you are comfortable with, and then you get your messages delivered in that language. So yes.
So with UNICEF, UNICEF, what is the partnership with UNICEF?
So it is the AGO.
Okay.
It is the AGO partnership. So UNICEF has the AGO, Savannah Signatures had the She Plus, and then been a merge. So now it makes it the AGO She Plus platform.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. I want us to go for a break. When we come back, I want us to delve straight into teenage pregnancy, because it's like, for a very long time, hearing teenage pregnancy, and it's like, I'm still hearing it. And I'm just wondering what we are not doing right. Let's go for a break. We'll be right back.
Books by Pastor A.L. Fant. They are inspired by the Holy Spirit, simple to comprehend, relevant in application, and so lovely to read. Grab copies like Dynamics of Kingdom Influence, Dynamics of Ministry, Mark is King for Church Workers, Money Matters, and she calls herself a woman. This marriage must work. No more curses. Loaded mouth. Secrets of Kingdom Dominion. The exploits of service. Things fall apart. Church without bleeding pulpit. Singles mingle, and many more.
Welcome back. I believe that listening to us, you've come to understand that it is an issue we still have to look at. Adolescents are very important beings. Of course, we are all important, but it's at that stage that they actually make it or unmake it in every aspect of their lives. There are lots of people that most times regret, and they say that they could have made better choices when they were in their teen age. We can make their lives much better. And let's stop. I think I see this with a lot of African parents. We try to let our children live the lives we had wanted to live. So maybe as a mother, you got pregnant at 14 or 15. You are being so harsh on your daughter not to get pregnant at that time. Even though it is good, but probably you might be going about it the wrong way. Communication works better than beating. I tell people that sometimes have a conversation with your children. Let them understand that certain things are not good for them at certain times. We are delving straight into teenage pregnancy. What is the situation on the field, Rahel?
So I think that the teenage pregnancy numbers tripled with COVID. Oh yes.
Because they were home, nothing to do.
Yes. For a lot of young people, school is some sort of a safe space. That is where they go the whole day, focus their energy and all of that. But being at home and not having anything to do has its own consequences. You know, adolescents get bored easily. I always say that if you're an adolescent, your attention span for stuff is actually shorter than a goldfish. They are doing one thing and then they want to move on to other things. And that is also where curiosity sets in. So sometimes they may not necessarily even want to do something, but because of how constantly it's being talked about, then it piques their interest and then they want to explore it. I mean, we've all been in our teenage years before. It's like the more they tell you that don't do this thing, like you want to do and know what will happen if I do this thing?
I wonder why sometimes we blame Eve for eating the apple.
Yeah, I think that, so that is where it requires a lot of explanation.
Yeah.
You cannot just tell somebody that, oh, don't do this, and just leave it at that. Let the young person know that if you do this, this is going to be the outcome of this. And as a result of the outcome, this is the trajectory your life is
Yeah.
going to take
Yeah.
as a result of it. I think that explains it much better to them than just saying that, you know, don't do this, period. An adolescent would do it. I mean, we've all done stuff that they said we shouldn't do when we were younger. And we found what we were looking
Yeah.
for. So back to the teenage pregnancy, the numbers are going up. Sadly. Because there are a lot of interventions happening. But then the numbers keep soaring. So if you ask me, I would say that it is time for us to do something different.
Wow. What can we do different?
Matter, everything starts with education.
Aren't we doing enough education?
It is not the education you are doing, it is how you are doing the education.
Okay.
It is how you are doing the education. Because we cannot keep saying the same things over and over and over and not getting a result, and that is what we want to stick to.
Okay.
So if you tell a young person not to have sex, when it comes to sex education, especially in Ghana, let me use Ghana because this is where I am and this is where most of us grew up. The education, the sexual education we get is usually, you know, you are growing up now.
Don't let a man
Don't
touch
let a man
you.
touch you, and then they leave it at
If
that.
a man touches you, you get pregnant.
Exactly, they leave it at that. It's like they do not go into details. It's like parents are afraid to actually have an in-depth discussion on sex
and we assume
education.
that the children don't actually know. There's this short clip I saw. It's a movie. I've watched the whole movie, but there was this funny little girl in Nollywood doing a lot of movies, and she was still with her mom and her grandmom, and they were like, oh, so her mother had her when she was a teenager. So they were having a conversation with other women, and they were sharing their experiences about how they got pregnant. So some of them were like, oh, if I had knew, I wouldn't have let a man touch me. My life would have been better. And the girl was like, oh, me dear, men have touched me. Then the mothers became very scared. And they asked her, how many men? Men, there are plenty men, they touched me. More than 20 men. Then
Wow.
they became furious. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, even this morning, Adam touched me. And Adam is one man who was living in their house. The mother, the grandmother, the other woman got up and they were rushing. Who is this Adam? They caught Adam, beating the Adam. And it was like, why did you touch my daughter? And Adam was trying to defend himself. He didn't know how to defend himself. Then they were like, didn't you say that Adam touched you? I was like, didn't you touch me? This morning when I was fetching the water, you pulled my door and I said, leave, and you kept touching me. Then the brother said, if it this kind of touch way they talk. And the doctor said, Mama, but what kind of touch way they talk about? So it's the way we make the education.
Yeah, the way
so
we do the
if
education.
there was no better explanation, Adam would have just been in trouble for nothing's sake.
Yeah.
Just because he touched the girl.
Yes.
And the girl in her mind, that she keeps telling men not to touch her. Because her mother says that don't let a man touch you. And she thought it was a physical touch.
Yes. So you see, these are the issues.
Yes.
That's how the education has
Yeah.
been, especially with parents. Discussion on sex education. They just pick parts of the issues and leave it at that. And as I talk about young people and their curiosity, it's like there is this hunger in them that needs to be satisfied. They have a lot of questions, but it's like as soon as you bring these questions up, parents shut you down.
Yeah.
And if you shut them down, the hunger will not go anywhere else.
That'll not be good.
And if you are not lucky, they may not be getting that information from the right source. I may not have gotten a proper sex education from home, but I can say that maybe in senior high school, we had people that came around and did proper sex education.
Yeah.
And maybe probably that is what saved my life.
Yeah. I remember in junior high school, I had known nothing about menstruation. And we had some nurses who were supposed to do their practicals who came to our school to talk to us about menstruation. It wasn't up to a month and I had my first menses. And I was just wondering if I didn't have that education,
What would you have
how
done?
my life would have been.
Exactly.
Najat, let me come to you. Do you think that organizations are doing enough?
Yeah, well, yes.
We have a lot
Especially
of them.
with
Mary
Savannah.
Stopes, Savannah, PPAG, NORSAC. There are lots of organizations out there doing so much on this.
Yeah, especially with Savannah signatures, I think we are doing well. Just like Rahel mentioned earlier, we have the Agoshi Plus platform. There's a lot of misinformation out there, especially, I think, when it comes to the month of October, we have the
breast
cancer awareness, and there's so much, what's the name, information out there. And one of the misinformation or misconception out there is that when a guy sucks your breast, yeah, it reduces
I
your
don't know
chance
who
of getting
brought that.
getting
I remember
breast
there was this
cancer.
doctor, she's a woman who came on GTV and said that it's not true. It's a misconception. Then somebody went to comment and said that, oh, this woman was my classmate. On that day they taught us that topic, she didn't come to school. That's why she's saying that. But I don't know why. It's like that is the only thing people are spearheading.
Yes.
Get a man to suck your breast or something. And I don't know why.
So the last time I was in a conversation with someone, we were talking about this breast cancer issue, I was like, I'm really scared, I'm worried. With teenagers, just like Rahel was saying, they are curious. If you're saying, and they face a lot of anxiety in their puberty stage, if there's, if they
Right.
feel like, okay, this is what I would do to help, they will want to go and try it. So imagine as a young person listening to you saying that breast cancer, if a boy sucks your breast, this is what's going to happen. She'll go and try it. And you know what will happen at the end of the day. Sucking your breast will not just make you go free like that. So we at Savannah Signatures, we are really keen to what we put out there. That's why we have health personnel in our call center to usually help you with young people with these issues. So yeah, I think we are doing a great job, and there's still more to be done.
Take us through the major disadvantages or bad effects or something likely to happen to anyone. As young people are watching, sometimes it's not like we want to scare you, but we want you to understand that when you get pregnant at this age, it's not good for you. What are some of the things they have to know that would happen to them if they get pregnant at this age?
So, first of all, you know, when you talk about teenage pregnancy and its consequences, usually when parents are explaining it, they do not really talk about the effect it will have on the individual. They care about their image. Hey, you go and get pregnant, and the church people will say, I am not doing my best as a parent. Oh, you go and get pregnant. Oh, you let my enemies get me. What will people say? You see, that is how they sensitize young people. Like, you know, protect me, save my dignity, don't get pregnant. But they do not tell a young person that if you get pregnant, you are likely to lose your life during childbirth. Because you are young, you are what, 14, you are 15, your body is not fully developed. You are a child yourself. Your body is not fully developed to house another child. That is why teenage mothers are at risk of fistula.
Another big topic on its own.
Exactly. You need to tell them that you may lose your life whilst trying to give birth, or you may get fistula. All of these things are things that you need to tell young people when you're advising them about teenage pregnancy. Not necessarily what will happen to you. The shame, the church excommunicating you, or your people seeing that your child is pregnant, it's not bigger than the life of your child. So you need to let them know the actual issues, not what would, you know, happen to you as the parent. They may die.
Yeah.
their lives should be more important than whichever shame that, like, the shame should be the last thing that you should even talk about when you are talking to young people about this thing. Because if you are telling me that if I get pregnant, your enemies will get you. Now, if your enemies get you, how does that one
Your
concern
enemies
me?
are not my enemies.
Exactly, Mama. Your enemies, they are not my enemies.
You can't recruit me to hate your enemies too.
So a child says then think that the worst thing that can happen is people will know that you have a child that is pregnant. Then what is the big deal here?
Some are actually sometimes being raped.
Yes, and that is what Najat was talking about, the gender-based violence. I think we sit there and assume that, all teenage pregnancies are as a result of, a child that is, children, exploring or being promiscuous or something. But no, sometimes these are as a result of rape or defilement. We live in a community where we say, when adults send you, do not say
refuse,
no.
yeah.
You cannot refuse. When adults tell you something, you need to listen. I think that a lot of people do not tell their children where to draw the line with adults. Because most of the teenage pregnancies that are happening, it is very few of them that happens between age mates. It is usually between a child and an adult.
And mostly familiar people.
Very, very familiar people.
I don't know why we are really unable to, when you see a girl who is outspoken, we call them to know. So when a girl says that, oh, today I don't want to go to Uncle Kofi, you're like, why don't you want to go? And they don't take their time to actually listen to why the girl says that, I actually don't feel comfortable going to Uncle Kofi.
Exactly. You see, that is why we need to be able to start, naming body parts well when we are talking to children. We say hand, we say head.
When it gets there, you cannot say certain things. But
you
don't
should
you
teach
think
children
that
the appropriate name parts so that...
Why about age-appropriate information?
So I think that teaching a child, someone that is, 10, the name of their sexual organ.
That's fine.
Even I even believe that even someone that is 3 or 4, if a person can talk, you need to teach them the appropriate name for their body parts.
I think that when it comes to education, I feel I've worked with PPAG before on some of these things. And one thing that we taught about CSE that became a big issue nationwide is about giving them age-appropriate information.
Yes.
And one of the things that I've always kept in my mind before, during, and even after is let your daughters know that they are not supposed to be touched at certain places. Even if they can't pronounce the word of the body part, just do not let your female daughters sit on the laps of adults. And I keep saying that is not really appropriate. People end up putting their fingers at places that are not appropriate for them. And these girls will come home and they are feeling pains and we can't really explain it. Are parents failing? Are we not talking to our children? Is it that we don't trust our children? That we trust the adults than our children?
So I think that is what, when you ask the question about what are other organizations doing, I think that this fight is way too big to leave to organizations.
Okay.
It's just way too big. Like, everybody needs to pull their weight, from parents to the government, before CSOs even come in. That is not their job. It's like now we've all left
they
it
are coming to compliment what the government and parents are doing.
You have to. The children live with you. The school has the children for how many hours in the day? The parents, how many hours do you have with the children? They live with you. So I think that a bigger chunk of the work should be done in the home and where they spend most parts of their lives are, and that is school. You cannot just leave. I mean, if PPAG, if Savannah Signatures goes to a school, how long are we staying there? Tops 2 hours and we are out of there. We cannot be doing that 2 hours. It's not that 2 hours that would save the life of your child. So parents have a very, very big responsibility. I mean, I know we are all trying to, put food on the table. So parents get up and go to work. But I think that when parents come home, they need to talk to their children, and even if it's 30 minutes, like, know how their day went, what transpired, what are some of the things that happened that made them uncomfortable, and take time to listen, and very less judgment. If you conduct a survey right now, if you conduct a poll and asking young people, you know, if you're experiencing any reproductive health issue, who would you rather tell?
They won't
Your
choose your
parents
parents,
or
yeah.
your friend? I bet you friends would always win.
Some would, the closest would be moms.
Yeah, even that one, you are leaving some of the information out. Because some people say that if I even tell my parents, they will not take it seriously. Imagine someone coming to tell you that your brother, an uncle, is touching me inappropriately. Your mother, you know, sometimes they'll be like,
stop assuming.
stop it,
saying
like,
things.
yeah, don't, you are just assuming it, or you are a bad girl. So they will not even want to
And the worst
tell
that
them
usually
mother.
hurts my soul is, what were you doing in his room?
Exactly.
Or you dressed in a bad manner. That's why
I even know households where they say something like, what are you wearing? Your Uncle Fred is coming. Go and put on a better, you know, dress, a dress that covers your body. Or they say that, oh, visitors are coming to the house. Go and put on, that is if you are probably wearing a shorts or something.
Yeah,
go and put on a long dress. Why are you even allowing visitors coming to the house, like visitors that your children would need to wear long dresses around? Why are you even allowing them in the house in the first place? It means that you know that they have a problem. But because they are family, you are endangering the lives of your
you have
children.
to wear, cover their hair, cover their legs.
I mean,
and
what
cover
is
everywhere.
attractive about a 12 years, a 15 years old child that an uncle is coming over that they have to go and wear long dress and cover their hairs? Then it means that you, the parents, you recognize that there's a problem with the person that is coming to the house there. Because children are going to be children. Children should be allowed to be children. You cannot be telling children to, you know, cover themselves when adults are coming. Then the adults are the problem, not the children. And if you are going to entertain adults that your children need to cover themselves around, then you should not be entertaining the adults in the first place as a parent.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that parents need to look at. In as much as you are giving your children education, you need to go out of your way to protect them too.
Protection, yeah.
If they are uncomfortable with an adult, do not keep sending them there.
Especially girls. Girls, yeah. Girls. We actually need to be very careful ourselves, especially if you are going 12, 13, 14. In as much as we are asking our parents to protect us, but when we become conscious of life and how we live, we should be able to, as much as possible, take some measures to protect ourselves. Because like you said, if I get raped, my mother or my father is going to cover it down there and say that don't disgrace me and things. But the trauma, I want us to go for a break, but when we back, I want us to look at the channels of reporting of certain cases, especially when your parents are against you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Reflection Show. We are helping ourselves to understand how we can do better for young people, helping them know that we are there for them, in as much as there could be systems that might seem that we are not supporting them, but we actually are supporting them. Let's go straight to I think the commonest one we know is DHIMS, that people can get their cases reported. Before that, are structures of reporting these cases sustainable? Are they also relevant, and are they helpful?
No, in some cases, I would say they are helpful. Because assuming the situation had already happened the day before you went to report, sometimes you feel they are not, because the treatment you receive, it's bad. You go to the police, they are like, what's your evidence? You go to the health facility, they say, oh, we are not able to help. So what is usually advised is that you go to the health facility first, so you be checked to see if truly you have been raped. Then you can go report to the police, and then it's taken from there. DHIMS comes in, I think social welfare too. And well, if in situations like this, you are unable to go to the health facility, you can call us at AGO and we can take it from there. We can help you to get help.
Rahel, the structures.
Okay, so we do not, we cannot speak entirely how the process is done in their place because we do not work with them. But when it comes to issues of rape and defilement, the first place to always go to is the health center. Because as at the time that the issue happened, if it is rape, the person has semen still inside you, which they would need to take as evidence. And then they need to put you on they need to put you on something.
Emergency contraceptives.
They need to give you an emergency contraceptive, probably, and then the something
test for
prophylaxis,
STIs,
you know.
for STIs.
Yeah, they do. They need to put you on meds to prevent like STI or even HIV, because you do not know the health status of the person that has raped or defiled you. And then from there, you move to a police station. I think one of the mistakes people make, and I can understand, because when someone goes through something as traumatizing as rape, in that moment, you want to, I think the first thing they usually do is bath. Because it's like they are trying to get the stain off them. They feel dirty. But it is very, very important that you go to the health center before you do anything else. Because if you bath, sometimes you're bathing all of the evidence off.
Yeah.
And then it becomes your word against theirs.
Yes.
But if I'm holding your semen, how did your semen get into my body? That would go a long way in helping their case when it finally goes to court. So I think that that's what people need to remember. The hospital, the police station, and then from there it goes up.
Oh, you mentioned the Agro platform, but you didn't give us the call numbers.
Yes, yeah, I was hoping you get
Yeah.
around to that. So if you're using MTN, for MTN users, it's actually free on 5100.
5100.
Yes.
So when you have any kind of phone,
Any kind of
And,
phone, you don't need a smartphone.
you dial. Let me try this.
Yeah.
5100. Okay, and you try it. It goes to store free.
Yeah. So the first.
Okay.
Press.
Okay.
one.
So when you call, it gives you. Just like how you call
Call
MTN,
MTN,
and
yes.
they give you the different languages and all of that. So depending on what you actually press, then you are actually able to go through the process.
So the
Okay.
only reason why that's for the first time. The next time, the subsequent times you call the number, you do not have to go through all of this process. But this one, in order for them to know which language you are comfortable with, it is important that you choose the language.
Okay.
Yes. So after that, they will now take you through what do you want to listen to. Do you want content on education? Do you want content on sexual and gender-based violence? Do you want content on employment? All of these things are there. You can go through, you can listen to them in the language of your choosing. And if you now want to talk to somebody, then you can make the request to talk to. That is where they link you to the Plus.
Just like when you call MTN. I mentioned MTN because they are my main sponsors for
Yeah.
most of my activities. So if I'm not mentioning your telecommunications. Yes, so just take us through the languages. English, Tree, Ga,
Dagbani,
Dagbani,
Ewe,
Ewe,
Frafra.
Frafra,
there is Hausa. And another thing is that our helpline attendants who are health workers, some of them speak more than one language.
Okay.
So there's some language you understand that is not even in
There.
the menu. But when you call,
I'll give you a Chinese one.
I mean, I'm talking about Ghanaian languages. When you call us, you would find somebody that speaks that particular language that can communicate with you. So maybe don't be discouraged if you think that, okay,
No, but
I've
I
gone
think
through.
English and Tree are actually most of the common languages that you can actually get someone
Yes.
who's supposed to speak with. Yeah.
Yes. So if you think that your language is not there, you can still call. It will surprise you to find somebody at the call center that would, pick up your call and then guide you through whatever is it that you want to do. And the opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So between the hours
12 hours?
Yeah, between the hours of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., you would always find somebody to attend to you, and that is Monday to Saturday.
Okay, it's only Sundays.
Yeah, it's only Sundays.
Okay.
They are not available.
Okay.
But 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is if you want to talk to somebody. But as for the Ago platform, you can call at any time.
To
Yes,
get any information.
to get any information, you
Okay.
can call at any time. And if you also do not want to go through the Ago 5100 and go through all of the messages, you can also call our toll-free line, which comes to the She Plus direct.
Okay.
So that one is 0800 0011.
Madam, relax.
22.
So 0800
00
11
22. Yes. As for that one, it just goes straight to the
I think when we are
attendant.
posting this, we'll add it to our social media handles.
Yes.
Share.
Yes. That one, it just goes straight to
And
the
you get
this
someone
thing.
to talk
Yeah,
to.
someone to talk to. Maybe if you think that the issue is so urgent, you do not want to go through the whole, listening to this thing, you can just call that one straight. That's the She Plus toll-free line. And as for that one, it's free for all networks.
It's free for all networks.
All
okay.
networks.
But use MTN to call. All of it. So now, UNICEF.
Yeah.
You are implementing this with UNICEF.
Yes.
And how has the implementation been so far with them?
Oh, it's been great. UNICEF is one of our very, very solid partners.
Yeah.
They are the brain behind our goal, but we have other projects too that we are implementing with them.
Right.
For example, is the PAPSI project. It is also focusing on young people's reproductive health and rights. So under there, that is where we do the in-school engagements. We do the out-of-school engagements and all of that, where we train people to even we even train teachers to do this sex education in the school for other people. So yeah.
Your final words, Najat.
Well, thank you for having us, and I encourage every young person to use our platform, and we are always there 12 hours. I was going to say 247, but we are there 12 hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So make sure you use the platform to get the needed help you want. Yeah.
Make sure you use the platform to get the needed help that you need. I've been speaking with Najat and Rahel, all from Savannah Signatures, helping us to understand how we can, all of us, come together and make sure that our young people are living and leading healthy lives. We need to stop or reduce teenage pregnancy. Sometimes I see some young girls and I'm like, oh my goodness, how would my life have been if I had gotten pregnant at a younger age? I wouldn't have been here speaking with you. I wouldn't have been here as Martha Inspires. That is why I want you to become greater than I am, and I keep saying that if I can, you too can. So make sure that as you are out there, if you have any questions, ask your parents. If you're unable to ask your parents, you have your teachers. Self-sign is around in most of the schools, or even other organizations are in schools giving this kind of education you can easily tap into. Or you call 5100. That's the one that or the number. This is the only one that is on 5100. Just call them Mondays to Saturdays and you get all your questions answered. My hair and makeup is by Endip's Beauty Salon. We are still calling on partners and sponsors for the Reflection Show. So if you are a business or an organization looking to sponsor or support this great initiative or this great agenda, please call us on 054 9578 512, and at the end of the day, we'll reach out to more young people to reduce teenage pregnancy and inspire them across every other situations and issues around the world. My name is Martha Anabila. Do have a good night. Merry Christmas. Hello and welcome to Thoughts from Martha Inspires. I am Martha Anabila. Today I want to talk to you about what I have captioned, do you want to grow? There are lots of times we say I want to grow, I want to become bigger in this, I want to become bigger in that, but we don't plan ourselves for the price we have to pay. In your career, do you want to grow? Even in age, do you want to grow? In your Christian life, do you want to grow? In your business, do you want to grow? Are you ready for the price, for the disappointment, the issues that comes with growth? As you are growing, are you sure that you want to grow? Because growth is painful, growth is selfish, growth is annoying, growth is something that will make you feel uncomfortable. Every business person understands that if you want to grow, you have to make a lot of sacrifices. Are you ready for that kind of sacrifice? Are you sure that you want to grow? In whatever endeavor you are partaking in life, I want you to understand that there is a price that you have to pay for you to grow. Sometimes we are like, oh, I want to grow, I want to do this, I want to do that, but we have forgotten that there is a serious price that we have to pay for us to grow, and we end up thinking that, oh, because this didn't work and that didn't work, I am quitting. If you want to grow, you have to be ready for the price, be ready for the sacrifices, the disappointment, the pain, the anger that comes with growth. Growth is not easy. And as every young person watching me today, understand that there is this kind of pain, emotional pain, psychological pain that you will encounter at every level of your growth. So if you are growing in business, you are growing in health, you are growing in age, in any way that you are growing, understand that there will be challenges, there will be issues. People will leave you, they will become angry with you, and they will hurt you. But you know what? There is always light at the end of the tunnel. Whatever you are going through, whatever issues you are facing, is part of the growth that you are seeking for. It's part of the growth that you are hoping for. So be able to understand that you need to pay for the price. Pay for the price. And the price comes in different ways. The price comes differently from different people. Somebody can be paying a price differently, but you will not pay the same price. So if you want to compare your growth with other people's growth, then you would never be able to grow in the way you have to grow, because growth is different. Grow gracefully. Grow graciously. Grow according to your strength. Do not copy people's growth. Grow because it's something that is going to make you outstanding. It's something that's going to make you great and amazing and wonderful. Growth is good. Growth is wonderful. But do not copy how people grow, because your endeavors and your growth would never be the same as other people would grow. So if you want to grow, understand the process, understand the mandate, and grow in that endeavor. Don't say, oh, 2-3 years, nothing is coming on, I'm not seeing profit, I'm not seeing that. Growth is painful, growth is annoying, growth it's something that is not pleasant. Growth is not easy. I believe that if you have watched this episode, you've understood that you have to go through the process of growth and be the best version of yourself, and don't compare any other person. Thank you for watching today's episode on Thoughts from Martha Inspires. I am Martha Anabila. See you next time.